Boys and girls, Alex here. This is a supplement to previous videos I've made regarding air cup clamps or air vacuum clamps. This is my full range of air cups. That I think is, good God, what is it, 100 mil? 75, 50, 30, I think that's 18. And this is 10 by whatever it is, I can't remember. Anyway, they're all put together using Nitto fittings into a vacuum pump. I'll put the link down below for where I've described it beforehand. The whole idea of these is to hold small pieces. Initially, I devised this system here for holding items on the tabletop, smaller ones. However, that was my initial intention, but how do I get it there when like this has come off the bandsaw? How do I get it there to hold before I can do anything? Anyway, we'll get off that for a moment. I showed you this thing just to demonstrate the power. Hang on, I think I'll get this one. I think this is the one I used. This is my shop-made air cup for a smaller diameter as opposed to the previous one. This groove I routed on my router table, and I actually used this air cup to hold it. And look, don't get me wrong, I was shitting myself. I expected this thing to fly all over the place. I had my hockey gear on to make sure I was protected, face masks and all. But it held well and no problem feeding it through the router table with a, what do you call it, a ball, one of those ball bearing guided router bits. That was that, which I was quite happy with. And also, these cookies are straight off the bandsaw. It's quite rough, you can feel it. And they are smooth enough to hold by the clamp. I'll show you how, well, I'll try and show you how it works later. That side's smooth because I've already sanded it on the bandsaw. This side is still rough. But now that that's been sanded on the bandsaw, I can now mount this on a sled, put it through a drum sander, and because the side is flat, it'll sit relatively flat on the drum sander sled, and when it comes out, it's not going to shoot off like a missile. If it happens to have, as you can see here, this is still rough and it has a check through it, to compensate and permit holding, what I do is I put masking tape over the back. I've only put it over a small amount. I haven't really tried this piece now. I've only just set this up because all these I did months ago. This is just for the video. I'll see if it holds, and if it doesn't, I might have to put more masking tape over the whole lot because that tends to flatten it out. And this one, it's got enough dimples there to allow for the roughness of the item. But we shall see. And then we'll progressively go down if I can find something small enough to hold and show you how I use these. Now, bear in mind, the whole idea is to hold it steady, keep my fingers away from the sides, because when I used to hold this down on the bandsaw, it'll either rip it out of my hands or whatever. This way, it'll hold it, but it'll just move this around. But anyway, we'll go into that a little bit later. All right, I'll now move it across to my Ross sander to show you how I can use it. And again, bear in mind that the Ross sander is nowhere near as aggressive as a belt sander, but they work on the same principle. Okay, here I am at the Ross. What I will do is try and, well, I'll demonstrate on this piece that I've already done. I hook it up to, put that on there, hook it up to this one here, turn on my pump, you can hear it pop in, there you are, it's got quite sufficient suction. Turn this on. And I can feel already the smoothness on that. Now that's holding well. To release it, I remove that. Now I'll try this one here. Yep, that's holding, even with that check. Put that on. Again, I can feel smoothness already. Now naturally I've got it on a belt sander, that'd work much quicker. Hang on, I'll turn this pump off. I've got a foot-powered lever down there. One of the things you've got to watch is that you get a lot of sawdust in there. Make sure you've got an inline filter between the hose and your pump to pick up some of that dust. Now I'll switch the camera off and get a smaller piece. Now this is a piece I've used. Actually, it's been cut out of the cookies, and I've cut it on the bandsaw. But let's just say I wanted to, if I had a piece this regular size, how the hell would you try and hold it there without it slipping out of your hand, or even on a belt sander? Or whatever. So let's see what damage we can do with, I don't know, I haven't tried it with this one. I don't know I doubt if that'll fit, but let's see. Plugged it in. Yeah. Looks like there's enough. Now, if that didn't work, I probably would have tried this smaller one. That certainly holds. Or alternatively, whoa! I'll try this one. I don't know whether this will work or not. Yep. However, bear in mind that that rubber is quite flexible, so you've got to... Because the rubber is flexible, it has that tendency to rock, so you've got to watch out for it. But anyway, these are, as I said, the air cups I've used, and that's it. So there you are, one of the short videos you'll ever get from me. Catch you later, boys and girls, and keep safe.